Good afternoon. My name is Liz Doles, and I'm Gallery Coordinator here at the Belmont Media Center. I'm very pleased to present to you our current show of drawings. The title is Nulla Dies Sine Linea, which means not a day without a line. Both Kelli Foster and I are draftsmen, and we are showing our individual works. Kelli, I see all your work is very colorful and filled with curlicues. In fact, this piece is called Curlicue. Could you tell us a little bit about it?
I love to use these wavy lines with the piece, with many of the pieces, and this one I think would be fun as a jigsaw puzzle. But one thing I like about a lot of the drawings I do is that they can be oriented in any direction, and they change character when you turn them. And one kind of fun idea I had would be to have a rotating frame, either slowly rotating like a clock or one that you could just position in a different way every day.
Cool. Very cool. Hey, besides helping out with the gallery here at Belmont Media Center, I also draw. And what I'm showing, along with Kelli, are 10 of my figure drawings done with Japanese ink. Brush and ink. I am enamored of Japanese line, and I have been ever since I was very young. Calligraphy and the artists Hokusai, Hakuin, Sengai pulled me into their work, and I wanted to grab that same spirit. I also love the figure, the Western tradition of drawing the figure, which is a genre in its own right. So these drawings were all done in the life room with live models, 1, 2, and 3 minute, maybe a 5-minute pose. And my challenge as a draftsman is to grab the gesture of the model, the line that runs through, the energy, using thick and thin lines to show light and dark, as much as I can express with the single line, because part of the challenge for me too is a minimum of materials and the time constraints. I think that for me, it brings a certain kind of energy into the work. I also use my own stamp that I had a boyfriend in Japan who was a calligrapher, and he had my signature stamps made for me. And I thought he would always love me because he wrote my name in stone, but that wasn't meant to be. But I'm very happy to be presenting my drawings here at the Belmont Media Center Gallery. So Kelli, you do your work in the 1369 Coffee House, and did you start out as an artist in the 1369 Coffee House, or were you an artist before that?
Well, I really think of myself more as an advanced doodler.
Okay.
I was sitting in the coffee house, mostly writing poems to try and purge myself of grief and, kind of self-therapy. And I would doodle on the edges and, on scratch paper and ballpoint pen. And a couple people would come over and say, hey, that's pretty good. You should do that bigger. You should do that in color. So I was encouraged by that. And so I brought in some colored pencils and real art paper. And that's how I got started with drawing. And people kept encouraging me, so I kept going.
That's a terrific evolution. I'm glad they encouraged you. Your work is beautiful.
Thank you.
So you identify yourself now as an artist then? You said advanced doodler. Are you advanced doodler or an artist?
I have no training. I can't render anything, fruit or figures or anything really accurately, but I enjoy just letting the drawings grow organically and do whatever they want to do. And that gives me a freedom from the perfectionism that I encounter in so many other areas. I tried some theater in high school, and I knew what it was supposed to look like and sound like, but I wasn't comfortable enough to do that. Mm-hmm. And I took piano lessons for 8 years, but again, I just could never, I was so afraid of making mistakes that I couldn't, I'm so envious of people who could just sit down and play and understand the instrument. And, but I found out with drawing that it just, when I let it create itself, and even if I make what I would think of as a mistake, I found, I don't like that, do more, do it bigger. And it always seems to work out.
I love that philosophy. Make a mistake and do it bigger. That's terrific.
Yeah.
What are you working on now?
I haven't really drawn in years. For a while, I was trying a different coffee house, and it wasn't conducive to drawing, so I switched to knitting over there. I knit a whole blanket. And then I found that the COVID shutdown really changed everything.
Yeah.
And even when the coffee house opened again, it had limited hours and still does. And, I used to sit there all day, but you can't really do that anymore.
Yeah.
And I miss that. But doing this show has inspired me and brought rekindled the desire to go back to drawing. So I hope I can do more drawing in the near
terrific.
future.
I hope so too. I hope so too. Kelli, do you sell your work?
I have no objection to selling my work, but I find that the self-promotion and the marketing and the sales, that's a whole other job that I'm not really interested in. I don't really want to do that. But I've thought of licensing some of the designs. I think some of them would make great jigsaw puzzles or shower curtains.
Coloring books.
Coloring books.
Yeah.
And I've, although I put in the colors already, but one idea I have is what I call infinite design.
Tell us about that.
And well, the drawing I have called Curly Q, I used something sort of like that, but with a single color in the background. And I can kind of show you what I would do is make sure that the lines coming from this side would match the lines coming from this side. And so same with top and bottom, so that you could reproduce it and use it as tiles. And you can even do more than one drawing that intersects so that you have variation of the design. And that way you could make bedspreads or wallpaper, and you can change the size of the design. Mm-hmm. And I just think that's a really exciting possibility.
Yeah,
I'd like to work more with that.
Terrific. I think it's exciting too. So, was there anything else you'd like to tell us about?
One thing that I really liked about working in the cafe is it's not that I need the attention so much as I really like the interaction and response I get from people. It was much more fun than writing depressing poetry, for one thing. But especially there was this one little boy who used to come in and give me ideas and suggestions. I was working on this kind of sea landscape, and I was just stuck with what to do next. And he said, "How about a bridge of sea urchins over here?" And I said, "Brilliant." I put that in, and that freed the whole thing up, and I was able to finish the work from there.
Great. All right.
So I would never have that kind of energy if I worked in a studio or at home.
That's right. That's right. That feeding back and forth.
Thank you for your questions, Liz.
Sure.
Do you mind if I ask you some?
I would love it.
I noticed you have a tattoo on your arm. Is that your own drawing?
Yes, it is. I wanted a tattoo, and I wanted my own drawing, and I got this one done, and my daughter took me to a tattoo parlor in Brooklyn, and she has one on the back of her neck, one of my drawings, so it's very fun. I have a little portfolio at all times available.
A little skin portfolio.
That's right.
Excellent.
Yes, it was very fun.
You mentioned that you call yourself a painter and a photographer, a graphic designer, a printmaker, and textile artist. Mm-hmm. Can you tell me, that you say drawing is fundamental for all of that. Can you tell us about that?
Absolutely. Over the course of my lifetime, I have been a draftsman, a painter, a fine arts painter, oils and acrylics. I've been a printmaker. I've been a graphic designer. I had a book design business for many years before computer design. Most recently, I have been working in textiles. And my textile pieces are not traditional quilts, although I use quilt techniques. So they combine drawing, they combine humor, and they combine color. I exhibited them here at Belmont Media Center Gallery, and very serendipitously, Senator Brownsberger was here while my show was up, and now 3 of my pieces are in his office in the State House. I'm very proud of that. I'm also a pinhole photographer. In my 40s, I was diagnosed with Graves' disease and compromised vision. And I needed a way to do photography, and I needed a way to do photography without using a viewfinder. And what I did was I made a pinhole camera. It's a camera without a lens. And I started doing pinhole photography using 4x5 film. I went to Sri Lanka as a Fulbright grantee and did a whole portfolio of the architecture of Sri Lanka in pinhole photography. And even there, line was the organizing element. As I said, the horizon line, the vertical lines that signify spirituality, the horizon line that separates heaven from earth. So Kelli Foster and I will be showing our work here at the gallery at the Belmont Media Center through August 30th. And we'd both be very pleased if you come in and take a look. Thank you.